George Pell today has been acquitted by the High Court of Australia. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison by a Victorian jury that was upheld by the Victorian Court of Appeals, 2 judges to 1, and then it went to the High Court, and today he was acquitted of child sex abuse charges as a Catholic priest dating back to the 90s and also the 70s. I think it's interesting for a man that just spent, an old elderly man that just spent 400 days in prison for what has been seen now as an injustice, so he hasn't been convicted, that the first thing that he says in his statement is, "I hold no ill will toward my accuser. I do not want my acquittal to add to the hurt and bitterness that so many feel. There is certainly hurt and bitterness enough." And I think it's a pretty amazing statement by someone that has been served a gross injustice. And I think that this really, despite the victims, which I think we cannot undervalue, that it's just been disgraceful and disgusting, the sexual abuse of any child, let alone in the church or in the name of God. But I think for him to come out and make that statement is powerful. The second thing in his statement that I wanted to point out here is he makes an amazing statement about truth and justice. And I think that this is really critical in this case. He says, "The only basis for long-term healing is truth, and the only basis for justice is truth, because justice means truth for all." And I appreciate our justice system in Australia because it has proved him, and apparently in this case, to not be a sex offender. And if that is the truth, I don't know him personally, but if that is the truth, then thank God for the justice system. But this is an amazing statement by Pell, because truth and justice are intimately tied together. If there's no truth, our life falls apart. If there's no truth, society falls apart. If there's no truth, if there's no cosmic truth, then our life has no purpose and meaning, and we're just a little speck on a tiny black rock in the middle of the Milky Way, and it means nothing. If there is truth, then there is a God, and then the claims of Jesus Christ to be the way, the truth, and the life, maybe they mean something. And I like how Pell drew us back to that. I think a massive issue here is obviously beyond George Pell, and he makes this statement as well today, that it's not about the church being under review, it was about him being under review, and he has been acquitted. But I do think that despite the church wasn't under review, it's hard to see that maybe how this couldn't be bias in this case, because people want the church to be held to account, and so it should be held to account. People were baying for blood because there's people that have been abused under the guidance of these priests, and so they should want freedom or want justice done. But I think the church has a huge PR issue here, and these whole abuse claims have not helped. Myself as a pastor, not a Catholic priest, but as a pastor and a Christian, it's a concern for me, because the church has a PR issue. It's distracted people, and it's distracted us from what we're meant to be doing, which is we're meant to be people of humility that come to people who are in need and offer the answer of Jesus Christ if they want to listen to the message. If they don't want to listen to the message, if they hate us, if they turn on us, none of that matters. We're meant to be people of humility that are getting on with the work of the kingdom of God, and we're meant to be people that represent and live out the truth. And the church has a PR problem because it hasn't lived by the truth. It hasn't even lived by the truth of basic justice and fairness and freedom and protection of children. Then how can we claim to the truth? But my final point I want to make is that the truth of Jesus Christ, the truth of the Bible, is the truth, no matter what the behavior of people who claim to be Christians or people that are involved in church. The truth stands on its own, and sometimes people who claim to the truth, sometimes Christians who claim to the Christian truth, won't behave in a way that uplifts that truth, won't behave in a way that projects that truth. But it doesn't change that the truth is the truth. Whether you believe in Jesus or not, whether you go to church or not, a key for any human being is to constantly be a seeker of the truth. That's my encouragement to all, is to seek the truth about life, the truth about this world, the truth about the George Pell case, the truth about purpose, the truth about yourself, is to find the truth, a universal cosmic truth of meaning and purpose and why we exist. Not just this meaningless pursuit of good feelings or good pleasure, because the truth is the only thing that lasts, and the truth is the only thing that will set us free. That's my thoughts on the George Pell case today. Please, if you can, I'd love it, like this video, subscribe, comment, do something to help me continue to get the message out. I want the truth to be told, and by you interacting and engaging, it helps get the truth out there.